Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going on a bit of a mind-bending journey. We're going to start with those warm, cozy feelings of human connection and stretch all the way out to the staggering, honestly awe-inspiring scale of the actual cosmos. Have you ever noticed how much we use space to talk about our feelings? We say things like, the stars aligned, or we feel like we're on another planet, or that special someone is literally our entire world. Well, today we're going to look at the universe through two totally different lenses. The beautiful, poetic universe we create for each other and the actual, physical universe we live in. And trust me on this, by the time we wrap up, your whole perspective on your place in the cosmos is going to be completely flipped upside down.
All right, let's jump right in. We just naturally reach for the vastness of space when we need a romantic metaphor, right? Just think about that massive Coldplay and BTS collaboration. You are my universe, and I just want to put you first. I mean, it's a beautiful thought. When we really want to say that someone is the absolute center of our world, that they are our everything, we don't just compare them to a city or even a whole continent. No, we elevate them to the scale of the universe itself. We take the absolute largest concept our brains can even handle just to try and measure the depth of human love.
And it's not even just about the sheer size of things, it's about the physics too. Take Lola Amour's track, Fallen. The lyrics go, "What if I told you that I've fallen? A heart-shaped arrow through my chest." We are constantly describing falling for someone like it's this unstoppable force of nature. We literally give human emotion the gravity of a celestial event. Because think about it, you don't choose to fall, right? Gravity just pulls you in, exactly like a planet getting caught in a star's orbit. It's this incredibly comforting, deeply human way to look at the cosmos, basically using it as a giant mirror for our own hearts.
But here's where we need to take a pretty sharp pivot. We have to step away from those warm, comforting metaphors for a second and ask, what does the actual physical universe really look like? Because in art, the universe is all about love, right? It's about feeling central and deep human connection. But in reality, the real universe is defined by just unimaginable vastness, freezing emptiness, and honestly, our own staggering insignificance. So we're about to strip away the human ego entirely here. Brace yourselves, because we are going to start zooming out.
Let's start right here at home with a massive number, 8 billion. That is the approximate human population on Earth today. And man, it feels like an incredibly huge number, doesn't it? Like our planet feels so crowded sometimes. But here's a fact that should instantly humble us all. If you took all 8 billion people alive today, and you stood them shoulder to shoulder, they could physically fit inside the city limits of Los Angeles. Yeah, an area of just 1,300 square kilometers. The entirety of humanity, every single person you know, love, or have ever even heard of, we basically occupy a microscopic speck on the surface of our own little planet.
And even just stepping into our immediate orbital neighborhood, things scale up ridiculously fast. So Earth is about 13,000 kilometers wide. Our moon is roughly 3,500 kilometers wide, which, by the way, is big enough to fit 100,000 Himalayan mountain ranges inside it. You could actually fit 50 moons inside the Earth. But the real mind-bender here is the distance between them. The gap between Earth and the moon is 384,000 kilometers. That space is so unbelievably huge that you could literally take Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune and line them all up perfectly side by side in the gap between us and our moon. Suddenly, human existence is starting to look awfully small, isn't it?
1.3 million. If you've ever caught yourself wondering how many Earths could fit inside our sun, well, there's your answer. Our sun sits about 150 million kilometers away, and it has a diameter of 1.4 million kilometers. Just try to picture that for a second. 1,300,000 planets, exactly the size of ours, just swallowed up by a single star. Actually, just close your eyes for a second and try to imagine that kind of scale. You can't do it. Our human brains literally aren't wired to comprehend it. Next to the sun, the Earth is barely even a rounding error.
But wait, because as massive as our sun is, it basically becomes a grain of sand when we start comparing it to the absolute titans hanging out in our galaxy. Let's look at a star like Vega. It can fit 20 of our suns. Then there's Arcturus, swallowing 17,000 suns. Moving down the list, we get to Rigel, which can hold 485,000 suns. And then we hit the red supergiant Betelgeuse. This monster boasts a diameter of over 1.2 billion kilometers and could comfortably fit 670 million of our suns inside of it. That life-giving sun of ours, the center of our whole solar system, it is practically invisible against these giants.
And it gets crazier.
The current reigning champion for the largest known star is Stephenson 218. This thing spans an unfathomable 3 billion kilometers across. If you were to hollow it out, you could pour nearly 10 billion of our suns inside it. Just really think about that. We just established that our sun can hold 1.3 million Earths, right? And Stephenson 218 can hold 10 billion suns. The reality of this scale is just completely mind-bending. Our entire world's existence is virtually microscopic at this point.
Okay, so because we are rapidly outgrowing kilometers, we actually have to shift how we measure things entirely. We've got to use light years, the distance light travels in a single year, blasting along at 300,000 kilometers per second. Think about nebulas, those massive cosmic clouds of dust and gas. The Cat's Eye Nebula is 0.4 light years across. The Helix Nebula spans 5 light years. The Orion Nebula is 24 light years wide. And Omega Centauri, that one stretches across 150 light years. Even light, the literal fastest thing in the universe, takes generations of human lifetimes just to cross from one side of these structures to the other.
And here is the kicker. All of those stars and nebulas we just talked about, they're all just local residents right here inside our home galaxy, the Milky Way. Our galaxy is 100,000 light years across. It contains roughly 400 billion stars and probably just as many planets. And here is a deeply, deeply humbling fact from our sources. If the Earth were to be destroyed today, or even if our massive sun were to suddenly just blink out of existence, the Milky Way wouldn't even notice. The galaxy is so incredibly vast that the loss of our entire solar system wouldn't even register as a footnote.
And yet the Milky Way itself is just a tiny drop in the cosmic ocean. Just look at the staggering progression of deep space galaxies. Our next-door neighbor, Andromeda, is twice our size and packed with 1 trillion stars. UGC 2885 is over 460,000 light-years across. Then we've got IC 1101, which is so huge you could fit 300 Milky Ways inside it. But the current heavyweight champion? That's Alcyonius. This radio galaxy spans 16 million light-years across. You could fit 4 million Milky Way galaxies inside Alcyonius. Our massive 100,000 light-year-wide home galaxy is practically a ghost next to it.
Which brings us to the ultimate punch of scale, 93 billion. The observable universe, and remember, that's just the part we can actually see, is 93 billion light-years across. And out there in that unimaginable expanse, there are over 200 billion separate galaxies, with each one containing billions or even trillions of stars. I mean, we started this explainer with 8 billion humans fitting into Los Angeles. Now we're looking at a universe with 200 billion galaxies. The scale is so massive, it honestly borders on the absurd.
All of this really forces us to ask a pretty profound question. In a universe this terrifyingly vast and empty, are we completely alone? Think about the chilling loneliness of the cosmos for a second. If, out of all these billions of galaxies and trillions of stars, Earth is the absolute only place with life, then we are entirely, terrifyingly alone in a cold, dark void. But on the flip side, if we aren't alone, the distances are so incredibly vast that we will likely never, ever get to meet anyone else. Either way you look at it, the isolation is just absolute. So let me ask you exactly what the source text asks here. What reason do you have to be arrogant? Why on earth do we feel so special? When you really understand that our solar system is just a tiny speck inside a galaxy, which is just a tiny speck inside a universe of 200 billion other galaxies, what happens to our ego? What happens to all our daily worries, our petty arguments, our pride? When it's juxtaposed against our microscopic place in the cosmos, our sense of self-importance just completely evaporates, doesn't it? We are just one species living on one tiny rock, orbiting a completely average star.
And to top it off, our existence is wildly fragile. Just 65 million years ago, a single asteroid wiped out the dinosaurs in an instant. They were the dominant species on this planet for 100 million years, way, way longer than we've been around. Yet this massive, completely indifferent universe erased their entire existence and turned their present into history in a split second. The universe does not care about us. It could wipe away our 8 billion people in a fraction of a second. And the cosmos, it would just keep right on spinning, utterly unaffected.
But let's bring this all back to where we started. You are my universe, and you make my world light up inside. We've just seen that the physical universe is terrifyingly vast, profoundly empty, and incredibly cold. It offers us absolutely no inherent significance. But you know what? Maybe that's exactly why the emotional universe is so incredibly important. Because the cosmos doesn't care about us. The emotional universes we create for each other. the love we share, the people we choose to put first, those become our truest, most real source of meaning. We are tiny, yeah, for sure. But if we're the only ones capable of lighting up someone's world inside, doesn't that make the connections we share the most special thing in the entire 93 billion light-year expanse? I'm going to leave you to chew on that. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.